Hey everybody, this is Dr. Holcomb. This video answers the question or addresses the question, what is academic writing? And in it we'll cover three topics. The conversational, quotes around conversational nature of academic writing. The fact that it's research and source driven. And we'll also touch briefly on the conventions of form and style. So let's get started with the first topic, conversational. This is a term that Gerald Graff and Kathy Birkenstein use in their textbook, They Say, I Say. Other sources also talk about academic writing as conversational, but they mean it in a special sense. They don't mean conversational in the sense that it's informal or colloquial. Rather, they mean it in the sense that academic discourse involves an interaction between what other people have said on a topic or an issue and then what you say. So that's what they mean by conversational. Let's read this quote. Academic writing calls upon writers not simply to express their own ideas, but to do so as a response to others. In other words, it's not enough just to make an assertion. You have to frame your assertions in the context of what other people have said on the issue. Let's go to the next topic. The central moves of academic argument. Now this is what they mean by when they say the DNA of academic discourse. And they express it in a kind of catchy way. They say, I say, so what? The they say refers to what other people have said on a particular topic. The I say is your own position, your own contribution to the conversation. And the so what question answers the question of what's the payoff? What are the broader implications? Any good academic piece of discourse is going to have all of these three moves. Now here's how they're conventionally executed. Typically the they say, I say, so what triad is rehearsed in a kind of compressed form in the introduction of an academic essay. And then the rest of the essay repeats that structure but at a more expanded, broader level. So you'd have the introduction, you'd have the they say, I say, so what in compressed form, and then the next section might be an elaboration on the they say, a much more extensive survey of what others have said on a particular topic or issue. And then the bulk of the essay will typically be devoted to what you say, where you will unpack and advance your argument on that particular issue. And then the conclusion will really drive home the so what question and explain what the broader implications and payoffs of your argument are. Let's look at an example. This is from the sleepover question, which appeared in your textbook, The Carolina Rhetoric. And it appears right at the beginning of the essay, where the author says, "Not under my roof. That's the attitude most American parents have towards teenagers in their sex lives." Here, this is how she's framing her own argument by giving a little summary of the conventional or typical American attitudes about teenagers and sleepovers. And then the writer asserts her own position. My look into cultural differences suggests family life might be much improved for all if Americans had more open ideas about teenage sex. So here you see the pivot. This is what they say is this is what people conventionally think, and here's what I'm going to say, and it's going to challenge conventional wisdom. And then the author answers the so what question. Improved family life. Okay, I guess I should back up. Sometimes the so what question can be answered while the writer is executing the I say move. If you go back up to I say, family life might be much improved. That's already sort of answering the so what question as she's delivering her I say. So the improved family life is one payoff. And then she mentions another payoff right after delivering her I say. This question speaks to culturally divergent ideas about teenage sex, lust, and capacity for love. So she's taking this issue and she's putting it in the context of three broader topics: teenage sex, lust, and capacity for love. Okay, let's go to the next topic. The idea that academic discourse is research and source-driven. It's kind of implicit in the triad that we just went over. The they say. It's the they say part of the they say, I say, so what. Another role that research plays in academic discourse is that it's heuristic. By heuristic, I mean it's a Greek term that means it helps the writer generate things to say. If you want to write about, I don't know, gun control or race relations in America, one way, and you don't really know what to say, one way to help you formulate some raw material for your essay is to go and read what other people have said. And by reading what other people have said, it'll kind of get the ball rolling, or the wheels cranking, and can give you some ammunition and ideas about how to respond to this particular topic. Research also helps establish your credibility. This is your ethos. It shows that you have done your homework, that you know about the topic, that you know what other people have said about the topic, and having done that, that gives you more credibility in terms of contributing to that conversation. The other function of research and sources is verifiability. Now, this is something that's especially important in the sciences, but it's also important in the humanities as well. It allows your reader to, if you have your sources and you have them documented properly, it allows your readers to go back and check the accuracy of your portrayal of these sources. Okay. Conventions of form and style. One important convention of academic discourse is documentation formats, and we're going to talk about documentation later in the semester. The documentation style that we use in this course is the MLA, and there's a whole unit devoted to the MLA documentation in the Penguin Handbook. Academic writing typically has a predictable organization. One kind of organization is the IMRAD structure. That is an acronym that stands for Introduction, Methods, Results, and Discussion. Now, this is pretty standard for scientific writing. Another conventional organization, this is probably going to be the one that we use more frequently in this class, is introduction, is the IOAC. Introduction, opposing views, your argument, that's the A part, and then a conclusion. The other thing to note here is something about academic style. It tends to be impersonal and to be formal, but not inflated. And there's a reason for this, because it kind of goes back to ethos, that one of the goals of academic research is to take some issue or some object and to look at it as objectively as possible, and to kind of spin it around and look at it from multiple sides. And one of the ways that you can sort of encode that perspective, the academic perspective, in your stylistically, is to use forms of address that are impersonal, that tend toward like the third person. Okay, now let's look at something that kind of brings all of this together. This is from the real deal. This is from an actual piece of academic prose, an article by Jeffrey Boehm called "The Daily Show, Discursive Integration and the Reinvention of Political Journalism," and it appeared in Political Communication in 2005. Let's read through this, and as I'm reading through this, try to think of, okay, where's the they say move, where's the I say move, and where's the so what? Here we go. And I might kind of gloss sentences as we work through it. The boundaries between news and entertainment and between public affairs and pop culture have become difficult, if not impossible, to discern. At the intersection of those borders sits The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, a hybrid blend of comedy, news, and political conversation that is difficult to pigeonhole. Although the program often is dismissed as being fake news, its significance for political communication may run much deeper. This study first locates The Daily Show within an emerging media environment defined by the forces of technology, technological multiplication, economic consolidation, and discursive integration, a landscape in which real news is becoming increasingly harder to identify or define. It then offers an interpretive reading of the program that understands the show not as fake news, but as an experiment in journalism. It argues that the show uses techniques drawn from genres of news, comedy, and television talk to revive journalism of critical inquiry and advance a model of deliberative democracy. Given the increasing popularity of the program, this essay concludes that The Daily Show has much to teach us about the possibilities of political journalism in the 21st century. Now, as I read that, were you able to identify those three moves? The I say, the they say, the I say, the so what? They're all there. Let's go back through it a little bit more carefully. Now, the first two sentences, the boundaries between news and entertainment, and at the intersection of those borders sits The Daily Show. Those two sentences give a little bit of background, and they announce the topic of the essay. When we get to the third sentence, although the program often is dismissed as being fake news, there it is. There's the they say moment. And it's going to be elaborated further on in the essay, but here it's being the triad is being executed in a compressed form. So the sort of the typical take on The Daily Show is that it's fake news, and then in the next clause of that same sentence you begin to see the pivot that the writer is setting up the I say move. Its significance for political communication may run much deeper. Although people dismiss it as fake news, it's in actuality it's much more important or significant. The next several sentences deliver what's I call a preview, or some people refer to it as a roadmap. Either metaphor works well. What the author is doing is laying out the organization of his argument. This study first does X, then this study does Y, and so on. And if you look a little further down, the second to last sentence, there's where you really get the I say in a specific form. Let me read it real quick. This study argues that the show uses techniques drawn from genres of news, comedy, and television talk to revive a journalism of critical inquiry and advance a model of deliberative democracy. Okay, there it is. There's the I say move. That's the argument that the author is going to take us eventual destination. And then the so what. Given the increasing popularity of the program, this essay concludes that The Daily Show has much to teach us about the possibilities of political journalism in the 21st century. So there it is. That's the payoff for taking the time to read this essay, that we're going to have a broader understanding of The Daily Show and its role in political journalism in the 21st century. Okay, there you have it. An overview to academic discourse. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.